Hi friends, it's Amber Hom, your friend in real estate, back again with you. Today's topic is all about buying in this frantic market. I've been getting tons of questions on whether now is the right time to buy, and the answer is simply this: it depends. I touched on this question in an earlier video, but will elaborate more today on my thoughts around this topic. I'll give you the inside skinny on the real estate market and some questions for you to chew on as to whether or not now is the right time to take the leap into the home buying waters.
Realm Real Estate, your guide to everything real estate in Concord and the East Bay. Connect, inspire, guide.
The media's been wrought with all sorts of information about real estate as of late. Lots of fear-mongering, including talk of the real estate market crashing and recession looming. If you spend any time on YouTube, you might think the world is ending, and instead of buying a home, you might be interested in investing in a barrel of beef jerky and dehydrated foods to get you through the apocalypse. Here are some real hard facts that are not meant to scare you, but to give you data to help you make the best choices for you and your finances. I don't know the historical data for apocalyptic rent rates, but I'm pretty sure a fixed mortgage is a safer bet. As far as a game plan, you can't time the housing market. That statement on the surface seems like it's wrong, but over 50 years of sales data suggests broadly that the right time to buy a house is always now. Housing prices, of course, vary by market, but on a national level, home prices have climbed steadily since the 1960s. Mortgage rates, which have basically doubled from 2.9% a year ago to 5.89% as of September 8, 2022, are a factor. But waiting for rates to drop is a dangerous game. If mortgage rates do fall, more people are likely to end up back in the housing market, and that, my friends, will push prices higher once again. Housing in most cases is not an optional purchase. Unless you have someone willing to give you a place to live free of charge, your choice is renting or buying a home. And as housing prices climb, rental rates generally move in the same direction. Currently, the median rent in the top 50 metro markets hit a record $1,849 in May. That's up 15.5% from a year earlier, and in the Bay Area, that number is significantly higher. Put simply, if you need a place to live and expect to stay put for at least a few years, buying makes much more sense than renting. Housing prices typically move steadily higher. Yes, there are periods where they dip and individual markets may vary, but the right time to buy a house has historically always been right now. Mortgage rates are a factor, but they're also relative. The current rate hike has slowed, if not stopped, rising home prices in many markets. If we see lower rates even a few years from now, that could be a catalyst for prices to rise again. And you can always refinance high interest rates later on once rates decline again and reduce your mortgage payment. So, is this the perfect storm for buyers who've been beat out over the last couple years? Quite possibly. Here's a real-life example of some clients that we started working with last year who decided to buy this year as the market started to cool down. Chris and Christina had been renting a home in central Contra Costa County for 5 years. The landlord raised their rent in 2021 to the tune of $3,000 a month. They started adding up the rent they'd paid over the last 5 years and found they'd spend almost $200,000. That's 6 figures. That money was gone. No equity, no interest earned, nothing. And the rent kept going up. And this is why they say landlords get rich while they sleep. They decided they didn't want to pay another $36,000 this year with nothing to show for it. Chris and Christina both had very good jobs and had been working for the last several years. Their credit was in the low 600s and they had a little money saved for a down payment, but not very much. They were referred to our office and we made an introduction to our preferred lender who had a consult with them to start the process. Our lender helped them navigate paying off a couple credit cards to boost their credit score and also found a great down payment assistance program to help them with a down payment. Our team began showing them homes and we found one that was a perfect starter. We were able to negotiate some credit from the seller to pay for their closing costs, which made the out-of-pocket cost for Chris and Christina minimal. The new mortgage for Chris and Christina was $3,500 per month, including their taxes and insurance. Now you might be saying, that's crazy, $500 more than they were paying for rent sounds like one step forward and 2 steps back. However, this is now a fixed cost for this young couple, and that monthly payment is also building equity. No more rent hikes, no more throwing money away on rent. They're also getting a break on their income taxes that offsets the difference between their old rent and their new mortgage. So now you might ask, what if the market crashes and I buy a house that's worth less than I paid for it? It really doesn't matter unless you're moving. If you can afford the payment and you're planning to stay put, it's a great time to buy a house. I guarantee in 15 to 20 years that house will be worth more than you paid for it. And I say this with great confidence because I lived through this scenario. I bought a house at almost the height of the market in 2005 and was upside down on it for several years after the market crash of 2008 happened. Today, that home is worth $300,000 more than I paid for it in 2005. And I'm very grateful that I held steady and didn't panic and walk away only to pay rent on someone else's house and help them gain equity through the aftermath of 2008. Real estate is an investment and a long game. An old and often quoted business proverb reminds us, progress always involves risk. You can't steal second base and keep your foot on first. This essentially tells us that you can't win if you don't play. Thanks for listening, and please feel free to contact us for any of your real estate needs or questions you may have. We'll see you next time.
Realm Real Estate, your guide to everything real estate in Concord and the East Bay. Connect, inspire, guide.